I think everyone here recognizes how extraordinary space is. Whether it is satellites that orbit the Earth, humans that land on the moon, or telescopes that peer into the furthest reaches of the universe. Space is exciting. It spurs our imaginations, and it forces us to ask big questions.
See? In a nutshell.
I'm in a state of aeronautic arousal right now.
What are
Is
the
that astronomical arousal?
what are the big questions, Kamala?
I think I have that.
Please keep Vice President Kamala Harris away from the Space Force. Instead of visiting America's southern border or even Ukraine, Vice President Harris went home to California for a big speech at Vandenberg Air Force Base Monday. Space is exciting, she said. It affects us all and it connects us all.
I don't know if you noticed it, Joe, but in the background, you see some of the people that are in attendance.
Right.
And a lot of them have the same look that Bud Selig had when the Chevy guy
That's right.
was trying to give away the trophy. I'm not kidding. It's like,
Because
what the hell is she talking
in
about?
theory, some of those people have actually been
Correct.
to space.
With Space Force service members arrayed behind her for the big speech, Harris announced the U.S. would halt destructive satellite tests, where your missile blows up your own old satellites on orbit. These tests are dangerous, and we will not conduct them, said Harris. Then she called on all nations, including China and Russia, to join the ban. You think they're laughing at this idiot?
Yeah.
Of course they are. Here's the kicker. The U.S. has no plans to blow up satellites. The only true American anti-satellite test took place in 1985. It is actually a pretty cool event involving an Air Force F-15 fighter and a special missile. Then in 2008, the U.S. shot down a broken spy satellite, carefully timing the impact so that chunks would burn up in the atmosphere. But that's it. That's the whole U.S. record. 2 anti-satellite shots. For Harris to make a unilateral pledge to stop something the U.S. wasn't doing anyway was bonkers.
Right.
Canceling something that doesn't happen.
Pu and Z are laughing at her. China doesn't do arms control. Besides, China has plans to dominate space. China responded on Tuesday by inviting all UN members to its space station and flooding party mouthpiece People's Daily with pictures of the 3 Chinese astronauts who just returned to Earth in April. As for Russia, I doubt if space right now is Putin's top priority. Also, Russia blew up a satellite in orbit on November 15, 2021. Trying to make Harris into an international space diplomat is another sign of the White House in foreign policy freefall. Can you imagine her having a say in anything important? Well,
No.
Well, space is important, and
Okay, but who is the speechwriter having a little bit of fun with her?
No, you're leading me to a thought I had along similar lines.
Go.
It's evident by now that either someone's trying to help her and she ignores them, or no one's trying to help her. Her staff has been a revolving door of people leaving.
True. She might be as difficult to work with as Amy Klobuchar.
But isn't there someone that can get to her and say, do you realize what a foolish woman you sound like?
I think they're doing this on purpose, Joe. They're keeping her occupied with nonsense in
For
order
what
to
point?
in order to keep her nose out of the real business of running the country.
Imagine a future, the freight trucks that deliver bread and milk to our grocery store.
No, think about it.
And
We've got to have her do something. What can we ever do this week? Oh, I
send her
know.
to the space station.
I know some BS about shooting satellites out of the sky.
Okay, but you have a president right now that finished his speech and shook hands with the air when he turned
and then got distracted by the Easter Bunny.
Yes.
One more point on her speaking style. The Joint Space Operations Center, where Harris visited, is an incredible command center where U.S. Space Forces and allies watch and track our satellites and keep an eye on the 29,000 pieces of space junk and nearly 2,700 satellites flown by many countries. They call it the JSPOC. I don't know why, but that sounded like she was talking down to those professionals. Makes you wonder if this was just a political move by her staff. Harris, as vice president, heads the National Space Council. She's the top dog for U.S. space policy. Can you imagine that?
No.
And she doesn't even know what she's talking about.
What street creds does she have?
The White House White House fact sheet for her big speech claimed that meaningfully reducing ASAT testing and debris generation advances U.S. national security, yet the attempt to give Harris credibility fizzled because of the flimsy policy position, trying to cancel something that we don't do. And Russia and China don't care. They don't care what this woman says. Play it again. It's truly incredible. And think of the professionals she's talking to.
I think everyone here recognizes how extraordinary space is. Whether it is satellites that orbit the Earth, humans that land on the moon, or telescopes that peer into the furthest reaches of the universe. Space is exciting.
Yes.
It spurs our imaginations, and it forces us to ask big questions.
I don't see why you don't get it, Joe.
Yeah,
I'm so embarrassed.
How embarrassed are you?
I can't believe this. I just can't believe it.
So the video you sent me, by the way, it's accompanied with the sign language guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's right next to her. At one point,
Is he rolling his eyes
he
going,
kind of does the
what?
okay.
Yeah.